What's up, Star Wars fans? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. And this is late. I meant to do it on yesterday's videos, but I just wanted to wish you all a happy Independence Day and happy Independence Day from my Hollywood boo, Mary Christina Brown. She's an awesome actress, awesome martial artist, awesome stunt woman, and she damn hot.
Yo, cuz, check it out. Look who I'm hanging out with. Yo,
hey, friends.
How you doing? It's your future wifey and stuff. There you go.
So anyway, the month of July, if you couldn't tell from yesterday's videos, I want to have some fun this summer. I want to be more laid back. There's not a lot of news going on about Star Wars right now. Hopefully we get something come D23 in about 2 weeks. But for now, I'm going to have some fun on Reddit. I'm going to spend a lot of time replying to posts that are on the Star Wars Reddit speculation board. And as you can see, I'm not going to do very much editing, so I'm going to post this stuff raw. I'm going to try not to talk for 20 and 30 minutes, but if I have something to say and it's flowing and I'm in that flow state, I'm going to let it flow. So like I said in a live stream a few weeks ago, I'm shooting to try to do like 50 videos in the month of July. So if you guys say, Prince, you're turning into TMZ or something like that. No, it's not that at all. One, I want to have some fun with you guys. I want to show you, like, when I read about Star Wars stuff and I want to talk about it, and then I'm like, no, I don't want to do a video on that. I say, you know what? Screw it. July, I'm going to make videos about anything I read because I've always got something to say. And I didn't start this channel to be a Star Wars expert or guru or to prove that I know it all. Well, really, I started the channel to talk about religion and martial arts and meditation and to show the path of me becoming an urban acolyte, which is not a real life Jedi. An urban acolyte is something that was inspired by the Jedi. And I don't know if I ever made it clear in other videos, but the idea of the urban acolyte, one, it came to me. So I was playing a lot of Star Wars, the Old Republic. I played a light side Sith. I wanted to toy with the idea. What if you had somebody who was drawn to the light side of the Force just inherently, but they happen to be born in the Sith Empire, and so they still have this whole Nietzschean idea of the will to power. You know, I'm trying to become the Ubermensch, but they're generally a good person. But it's like, hey man, if you screw me, you know, there's still the strong survive. You know, if you do me wrong, I'm gonna cut you down. Anything that gets in my way, I'm gonna obliterate it. But I'm not really into this whole, I need the dark side of the Force and empower myself. You know, the Jedi have their merits too. And that's what the urban acolyte was born out of, was the idea of someone who's like Palpatine, who became the most powerful Force wielder in the galaxy, depending on your point of view. But Palpatine didn't go and become a hermit. He didn't go and reside in the Jedi Temple and seal himself away in an ivory temple and make himself ivory tower, I think is the term that's used, and make himself unavailable and above everyone. He was a senator, a politician, a person of the people. And when you read that Obi-Wan and Anakin comic book, he would, you know, put on his cloak, kind of disguise himself because he's the chancellor at this point, and go to these casinos and cantinas and stuff and be among the people, right? Yeah, so that's really the goal. Is I wanted to show the process of becoming that, and I happened to do a couple of videos on Star Wars The Force Awakens that popped, and here I am. But anyway, I'm trying to see how much time I wasted. Okay, 5 minutes. I don't want this video to go over 15 minutes, right? So the people your videos are too long. Generally, YouTube likes the videos to be anywhere between 7 and 16 minutes. So I'm gonna try to stay under 15 minutes since I talked for like an hour in 2 videos yesterday, which, hey, my watch time was My watch time yesterday was better than my best day in June, you know, when I had the most views I've had in a few months. But anyway, I'm hanging out on Star Wars, the Star Wars Reddit speculation board, and this question, it's kind of a crazy question, but I said, you know what, I want to chime in on it, and so why not? I got a channel, I got an audience, maybe you guys want to talk about this too, and that's all right. The question was submitted 8 hours ago by 2019-2019-0669. Man, that's an interesting combination of numbers. And the question is, would Han Solo still have died if they knew Carrie Fisher was going to die? And at first I looked at this and I'm like, man, you know, it's like you're asking, I don't think Nostradamus is employed by Lucasfilm. You know, maybe Pablo Hidalgo, his nickname that we don't know about, we'll have to ask his wife about that. Maybe that's her pet name for Pablo is Nostradamus, but I don't think they would have any way of knowing. None of us knew that, you know, in 2014, 2014 when the Disney acquisition came about and the announcement we're gonna pick up with more Star Wars movies, no one knew that Carrie Fisher was gonna expire at the end of 2016. But the post, I'm gonna read it. Say what you want about Han Solo's death and what would have happened to Leia, but I don't think they wanted to kill off two of the originals. The only way Leia can go on is with a recast, in which case they could keep Han's death. But outside of that, do you think they would have kept it? So they're not going to recast anyone as Leia. That's the word that I picked up, at least, is that Carrie Fisher will always be Princess Leia on screen. You know, well, I won't say always, but for now, because she already hasn't always been Princess Leia. Was her image, but someone else portrayed the actress, and I'm not sure if Carrie Fisher actually recorded those lines for Rogue One, you know, and all she said was hope, or if that was digitally altered, or if that was actually that actual actress saying those lines. But I mean, it's possible, but I think that for now they're going to try to keep Carrie Fisher's visage, her face, as Princess Leia, at least on film, right? We're already going to see a different. We've already seen someone else portray Leia on Rebels and in the Forces of Destiny cartoon. And the second episode came out yesterday. If they're doing an episode a day, then the third episode should be coming out pretty soon. Probably by the time you guys see this video, it might already be live. Because I'm going to try to upload this in the next hour and a half. But anyway, I really had to think about this, because what I've been reading is that the plan was to have The Force Awakens was Han Solo's movie. Luke Skywalker's movie is The Last Jedi. And then Leia's movie is going to be, well, was going to be Episode 9, which for now is unnamed. And Colin Trevorrow before said that his plans were to have Carrie Fisher heavily involved in Episode 9. She would have a big plot point. I heard rumors that, you know, she would use the Force in Episode 8, and then in 9 there would be some battle, and she and Ben are going around Force pushing each other and throwing Kamehamehas and everything else. And yeah, I know Kamehama waves aren't in Star Wars, but you know, I also heard that Episode 8 is going to have new powers and new abilities, so maybe there will be some kind of Kamehama wave. That would be crazy. Geekdom would love that. I think his Star Wars videos would do better on his amazing Dragon Ball channel if Star Wars introduced the Kamehama wave. Well, you guys, I might do a poll on that. Should Star Wars introduce the Kamehama wave or something similar? I'm going to put a poll on that, and you guys chime in on that and let me know down in the comment section. Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. So my point is, would they have flipped that around, right? Would they have turned it around so that 7 is Leia's movie, Luke's still wedged in the middle, and then Han is 8? You know, I don't know, because see, I feel like this. If Kylo Ren, and see, this is, I'm going to share, you guys. I was having a conversation with Uncle Tamer, Iron Tamer Dave Whitley. If you're not into kettlebells, this dude is a strong man, a big kettlebell guy, or was. He's more focusing on the strongman stuff, but that's the person that introduced me to kettlebells here in Nashville. Amazing man, amazing martial artist, amazing strength coach. All around good dude. So Dave and I were talking on Facebook the other day, late one night, and I was telling him that where the directors all have they can do their own Star Wars movie. They're writing it, producing, directing. I'm worried about Episode 9 and Colin Trevorrow's movie. I don't know anything about this dude. I haven't seen his other big film, whatever it was. I'm scared he's gonna mess. I'm just telling you, and it's nothing against Colin Trevorrow. If you ever see this video, actually, I'd be honored the fact that you're even watching people on YouTube that talk about Star Wars. He's probably not gonna watch this video. He probably don't give a shit. But I would be honored if anyone saw it and passed it on to him. But I'm afraid that he's gonna mess up the story. That's just a fear that I have. And that's, you know, when you get in this whole Buddhist mindset or Taoist mindset, fears are usually unfounded. So it's a completely unfounded fear. It's just an unknown. I don't know anything, and I don't have any control over that. My videos are not going to sway him where, you know what? That urban acolyte dude, Prince, the dude that wears the Jedi robe sometimes, he's got some good ideas about Finn. We need to... They're not watching this stuff, and they don't care, and you know, and they're telling their own story. And I told Dave I would feel more confident if the story group kind of stepped in and said, "Look, Colin, this is where we ultimately want this story to go," and that way, if things happen that I kind of don't want to happen, I don't want to say don't want, because people are going to read that as in, oh, Prince wants this to happen. I'm not that attached to these things, but I'll say things that would be more pleasing and things that would be less pleasing. Like, yes, it would be pleasing to me if Finn turns out to be force sensitive. And the reason I say that is because moving forward, then we can look and say, these are ways of identifying someone as being force sensitive. Or, well, this guy's good at this, and they say he's gifted and this and that, but okay, so what? We're back to measuring midi-chlorians, right? That's why I'm making that strong argument, is if you have someone and they say this person's physically gifted, they're good at this, this, and this, and they're superior to everyone else in these ways, okay, ding, ding, they might be force sensitive versus, oh, well, I don't know. What does it mean? You know, it's like, so that's why I'm pushing hard where Prince Finn's not force sensitive. He doesn't have the okay, well then how do we know if someone has the force that hasn't had training and doesn't outright show powers and abilities? Because Matt Martin the other day on Twitter was talking about you can have someone who is a child of the Force, but since they have no Force training, they could just go on about their life and never show any powers or things or do stuff like Rey does, but they're still Force sensitive, right? So, you know, so that's where for me, it's not about I'm black and I want Finn to be a Jedi because he's black and I can identify him and I need to have a hero on the screen, right? Because I identify with Luke Skywalker, and Mark Hamill's an old white dude and I'm not an old white dude. The only thing I have in common with Mark Hamill is we're both short, right? So I would feel better knowing that the story group steps in and says, this is where we want the stories to go. Now, as far as getting back to this whole thing, there's no way of knowing. I'm over 15 minutes. I don't care. I'm probably only going to talk for like 2 or 3 more minutes. So it's all good. It's all gravy, baby. I would feel more confident if the story group kind of laid down some parameters and said, because, you know, Pablo said, we don't determine canon. We just make sure that all of these projects that people have, that they're not too far out there. That was the problem with why was I about to say Ezra, Lord, and Miller? Lord and Miller in the Han Solo project, it wasn't just that Alden Ehrenreich said, look, Kathy, I have concerns about what these guys are doing. some of the stuff that they have me saying is Han Solo doesn't really feel like it's in character with Han Solo later, right? I know it's young Han Solo, but it doesn't, this point A where I'm at doesn't match up with the point B where Harrison Ford picks up as Han Solo. And so there were issues there, and then there were issues where they were playing around with the continuity and doing things where it wouldn't add up. Like if we, like maybe they tease, oh, well, Han slept with Sana Starros, or they allude to that, you know, oh, you know, me and Lando, you know, we had a threesome with Sana, and then you go and look, and yes, Sana and Han had this con where they pretended to be married, but right now, you know, as far as continuity goes, Sana and Dr. Afra were an item. I think Dr. Afra, I don't even think she plays both sides. I think she's, you know, straight up gay, and that's cool. And Sana might not bat for both teams. That whole thing with Han might have just been a con. And she might be in the Dr. Afra type chicks, right? And you know, so I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened, but you know, you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm using that as an example. Like they were doing things that were causing problems with things that are canon, or things that are canon that we don't know about. So that was the issue, and that's really my answer to this question is, you know, the story is not set in stone, right? So whatever, Carrie Fisher is no longer with us, that's going to be my big draw for episode 8 and 9. I'm going to make a mental note of that, guys, because that's something we need to log. That's something we need to pay careful attention to. That's just as important as finding out these questions about Rey and Luke Skywalker. How did they, what's the deal with Leia's story? Claudia Gray's got the Leia novel that's coming out in September, probably after Force Friday. And then we got to go back. We got to look at the rewritten, the YA versions of the original saga. So because I told you, if you haven't read those, I haven't read all of them. I read A New Hope, which is called like The Princess, the Scoundrel, and the Farm Boy. In that, they start to tease that Leia is tapping into the Force. When Darth Vader interrogates her, the interrogation droid comes in, and Vader's doing some Force technique stuff too to kind of cloud her mind and get her to snitch on the rebels. She's able to she's able to resist that the same way Rey resisted Kylo Ren. So I think that might be a project for late December, after, you know, when everybody's covering everything still from episode 8. And that's a reminder to myself, I need to write it down somewhere, is to go back and start looking at Leia. What did we learn about Leia in 8? And start wondering, like, how do they tie up her story? What's going to happen with her in 9 if they don't tie up her story in 8? So those are my thoughts. As far as would Han have still died, I don't know. I mean, naturally, you can't kill off 2 characters. If you knew in advance that, you know, Leia was going to die, or Carrie Fisher was going to die of like congenital heart issues, which that was her cause of death. I don't care about the drugs and everything else. Her heart stopped, right? She had issues with her heart that may have been related to drug use, stress. We don't know. You know, my grandma, her heart stopped. She was old. Heart got weak and it stopped. And, you know, I guess they could say her real cause of death was she suffocated, but it was because her heart stopped, right? It was causing issues with her lungs, right? I guess it's funny I'm doing this. My grandma's job, this is a side note, then I'm going to end this video, but my grandma's job when she was younger, was she was part of experimental open heart surgery research team, and her job was, one, to monitor the equipment, because she went to medical school and she got sick with pneumonia and had to drop out after her first year of med school. And so then she got into medical technology, and her job was to monitor the systems, you know, the machines that make sure somebody's heart's still beating, you know, while they're in open heart surgery. And if that person died, she had to reach in their chest and physically, like, massage their heart to get it to start back beating, you know, because you can't put the cleared, you know, and all of that on somebody with their chest is wide open. So she'd reach in and massage their heart to bring them back to life, right? Which is freaking wild, man. Like, so, you know, people, Prince, you need to be more humble. I'm like, do you know where I come from? Do you know the people I come from? Right? My grandma would cuss you out if you tell me to be humble. Like, I have a lot of humility, but I come from a proud people, right? I'm a Jedi, like my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather before me, and my dad. Well, we won't talk about Prince Bell, but anyway, those are my thoughts on that. But what do you guys think? Would you have had Han Solo die in Episode 7 if you knew that Carrie Fisher was gonna die, you know, after they finished filming 8? Like I said, none of us are Nostradamus. We have no way of knowing that. And yes, I know I went way over 15 minutes, but it's all good. I wanted to chat with you guys. The next video will be shorter, I promise. So let me know your thoughts down below, or you can just talk about the Kamehameha wave in Star Wars. But anyway, that's all I got for this one. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so that you can take your first steps towards becoming an urban acolyte. Dedicate yourself to becoming the hero of your own story and become a force for change in your community. Continue to support the channel, and feel free to tweet me any stuff you see on Reddit, because I'm going to spend a lot of time on Reddit this month making videos about posts over there. So tweet me anything you see interesting, and I'll see if I can do a video on it. Anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for watching. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.